Hello, everybody, and welcome to Elliot's Everything Emporium. All right, this is my podcast where I talk about reselling and being a stay-at-home dad and how we take care of business around here. So, first thing I'm going to talk about is how to research, okay? So, many of us who are interested in doing reselling kind of going to be at a loss because we'll look at things and we're going like, why is it priced this way? I don't understand. Why is it that this thing over here is selling for like $500 and the other one who is just like it is being sold for $300? What's the difference between the two? And, honestly, it could be any number of reasons why this might be. So here I'm going to try to kind of break down how people get to their numbers. And I'll just throw this out sort of as a caveat. First off, I think there are people that are online that genuinely just post stuff at a really high price, and they're just going to let it sit there and hope that it sells. And their price may have very little bearing on reality, because it might just be the only one, or it might just be a limited amount. One thing I have discovered is that people will pay for things. Some people have a lot more money than you and I do, and therefore they're willing to say, well, you know what, I don't really care. I'm going to spend, however much, $500 for this item, and I don't care. So just to kind of throw that out there as a caveat in all this. And sometimes you will see that something will have been sold for a huge amount of money, and you're just going, I don't understand this. And you know what, truth be told, I don't really either. But how to research it. So eBay is kind of unique just because it also has the auction function, and sometimes things can go for a lot more in there. But typically the way that I tried to do research on there is if you go to your tabs, it will say sold and completed. Okay, so you click those two and then lock it down, and then that way when you research something, it's going to show you the history of the things for, I think, roughly about the last 2 years. It's going to show you everything that's sold by that name or by that ISBN. And that should give you sort of an indication of how much you can probably sell it and whether it's even worth your while getting it. If something is only sold like once in a while, it may not be worth your while. Then again, some things are kind of unique. For instance, a good example is that I sold it's like a mini computer for a race car. And I found it, didn't really know what it was, looked it up, had seen that one had sold for like $50 in the last 2 years. And that was it. And then I searched it. I couldn't find another one online. So I kind of thought to myself, well, this may be one that I could probably risk it. I'll just put it up there and I'll just see. And there's quite another number of items I've had like that, where maybe one or two have sold in the past year. Or last 2 years, and I'll just post it and just sort of see, hey, is this going to sell? Especially if it's like a high dollar amount. Yeah, it's sold off. Oh yeah, so that little computer, yes, it's sold, I think within a week, and I got inquiries very quickly on it. So I imagine that some people have sort of keywords locked into eBay that if something comes onto the auction block, they automatically will be alerted to it, because I'm sure that there's a lot of people out there looking for things from their childhood or for a very rare item, and they have these maybe on Google or whatever, they have these words locked in that they'll send them an email saying, hey, this item just came on, why don't you go out and buy it? And they'll take a look at it. So for instance, yeah, like I said, that car computer, it sold within a week. Sold for, I think, about $50. I got it for about $2. So it was pretty good deal. And, I'm sure somebody was happy with it. Okay. Now, so the next thing is so that's one of the ways you can research. So you're going to take a look at that. You're going to make sure that, hey, yeah, these things have sold before. They've sold at a good price. So I'm going to double, triple, or quadruple, or even, 10 times my money on these items. That's where you really want to be in order to survive in this game. So the next thing is, if you can't find this item on eBay or limited amount, because sometimes the wording might be weird or you can't necessarily find out what exactly it is. I've had that quite a few times. Found an action figure that was like this little, almost looked like a Jawa sort of figurine, like something out of Star Wars. And I'm going like, I know this is in Star Wars, even though it was produced by Hasbro. No, wait, it was Kenner that produced Star Wars stuff. But anyways, Hasbro. And I'm going like, I don't know what this is, but it says it's from the 1980s. And I'm digging around, and I'm just finding absolutely nothing on eBay about it. Like I'm typing in kind of keywords and like the year, the brand, kind of description, nothing, right? Well, finally I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go over to Google. So I punched it in, the kind of the keyword, the description of it, and all of a sudden it pops up. And when you click up at the top, it'll say search or sales, shopping. Look up there, and I was able to locate the doll. Turns out this was from a 1986 show called Brave Star, I believe it was, and this was a bad guy. It was actually definitely worth some money, and I think there was only maybe 2 or 3 that had sold in the last, however long. So that's another way that you can research. Just Google it. On top of that, there's also a database called Camel. This is typically for Amazon research. That what you're looking for, it will show you what has sold, what the ranking is, things like that. It's actually a very useful website, especially if you're selling on Amazon. It'll tell you exactly what it is, the data that you're looking for. There are also private databases out there. So, for instance, I believe it's called IQ Scout, and some of these other databases that are basically have been generated privately, and they're for Amazon, and they can give you book rankings or whatever the item is. You can give them the rankings, how often it's sold, what it's sold for, things like that, and that will give you a better idea of whether you should buy something or whether you should not buy something. So, but again, a lot of these private databases, they cost money. So, spend money to make money, but it's kind of up to you. I don't use one personally, but I have thought about it, but I don't really sell big time on Amazon. I sell mainly on eBay. Last but not least, I'm sure all of you guys have seen Pawn Stars. They call in specialists, right? Sometimes it is important to ask a friend. I run an Instagram page. Part of the reason I run the Instagram page is because I will post pictures up there sometimes of an item that I don't know what it is, like that 1986 Brave Star figurine. I was almost planning on just posting on Instagram and just seeing if somebody would, hey, that is blah, blah, blah from Brave Star. So, I have done that before. But again, it doesn't always turn out, maybe, the wrong person the wrong people see it. Maybe the right person sees it, but they just don't bother responding. But this can help. I've called one of my friends before, who's big into, what are they called? Magic the Gathering, and asked him questions about certain types of cards, and didn't wind up buying the stuff. But anyways, yeah, so that's another big thing out there. So you can call a friend or, talk to somebody on Facebook. And there's also something I did not know about, but there's also certain collectors' websites, sometimes that you can go on and ask them questions. I've done that before. There is a Nike one out there. So if you run across Nike stuff that you're not sure what exactly it is, you can actually post it on there and they may be able to help you out. But then again, maybe they won't, because whatever. So anyways, these are just some tips that I use for when I do my research on whether I should buy something and what I should price it at. And it can be a very valuable resource. So, all right, we'll leave it at that. Talk to you guys later.